to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Can you hear us, Prabhuji? No? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. I was muted and I could not unmute myself. It was not allowing me.
Yeah, you should be co-host. Yeah. Yeah, now you are co-host. Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, with your permission, I would like to give some little brief introduction about you because there are a lot of new people have joined. So, please allow me. Okay, I will just read it. So his guest Kanai Thakur Prabhu is present with us. He has actually done MBA from Symbiosis Pune. After his graduation, he worked in MNCs like Siemens, Patni, which is now called iGate and Genser Technologies, and received Best Employee Award in all the three companies. Being inspired by the teaching of Bhagavad Gita as it is and seeing the condition of misguided modern youths, he decided to dedicate his life for spreading the timeless wisdom of Bhagavad Gita and joined ISKCON Pune in the year of 2004. He has been heading various departments in temple and specially serves as a youth preacher. He is a motivational speaker, youth counselor, manager, and most importantly, heart-to-heart friend of all. Currently guiding many students, mainly from IIT Mumbai, Chennai, IIT Chennai, IIT Bangalore, NIT Suratkhal, NIT Raurkela, and in Maharashtra, COP, VIT, SDGS, etc. He guides corporate from various multinational companies in India and abroad, has recently given the DYOS course for CEOs of 50 companies, guides many families and gives online course in many places of USA and other countries. He has 13 regular programs in a week and extensively travels all over India for many such programs. He has also traveled to Malaysia for giving spiritual discourse. His recent 45 days of visit to various states across USA was very well received, and he offers spiritual discourse at Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Gita Nagari, New York, Chicago, Naperville, Sacramento, Boston, Silicon Valley, Seattle, Portland, Ashburn, Washington, West Virginia, and Berkeley. So today we are very grateful that he has taken some time out from his busy schedule and agreed for the Learn to Live Gita discourse. And we are sure that all of you will be we will love to be around and hear him speak to nourish yourself. And let's welcome him with 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. And also, I would like to thank Gaurav Prabhu because of his coordination effort and logistic arrangement. And before you start, Prabhuji, he will set some rules for this class, 18 classes. So over to you, Gaurav. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. So to all the devotees for these meetings, I would request everyone to stay muted unless you have any questions. And in the end of the class, we'll have everyone will have some chance to ask Prabhuji some questions. So at that time, you can unmute yourself, and we'd also request everyone to keep their camera on. So as you all know, this is going to be like 18 sessions. So we would kindly request everyone to join all the sessions, but we'd request everyone to at least join the 13 sessions, and also based on that attendance and exam at the end of the course, a certificate would be provided to those who fulfill that criteria. So yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for having me with all of you here. I'm very grateful to you for joining and for the Learn to Live Gita sessions here. As planned, we'll be sitting around and we'll be together here on this journey for 18 sessions, and we'll try to understand the Bhagavad Gita. It's very rare and it's very special that you all want to learn and understand Bhagavad Gita, because attraction to Bhagavad Gita, because it's also Gita Upanishad, right? The attraction to Bhagavad Gita and understanding Bhagavad Gita is very, very rare. People may want to read various scriptures, but Bhagavad Gita becomes, somehow it has been put forth in front of us that it is very difficult, very philosophical. It is meant for, a different class of people. But that's not the case. That's not the case. Bhagavad Gita is spoken for all of us. Bhagavad Gita is the foundation for our spiritual practice. Why spiritual practice? Foundation for our life. This is what should have been taught to us the first thing in our schools, right? But anyway, now we are here. We'll try to understand it. Although understanding Bhagavad Gita could take lifetimes, it's not even one life's job. But we'll try to understand each chapter. So Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters and 700 verses. So we will not go verse by verse, which is a general tradition, but we'll go chapter by chapter so that we can complete one chapter in one sitting and try to summarize the entire chapter. Okay, that's how we will continue. So 18 sessions will happen. So whenever we begin any spiritual discussion, we chant prayers. We chant prayers and prepare our heart so that we'll understand the subject. Right? So please allow me to offer the prayers, and if you can, kindly repeat behind. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Deenatarinam. Hare Krishna. So, Bhagavad Gita, which all
Sorry,
of us
Prabhuji.
have.
Sorry, Prabhuji, sorry to disturb you. Some of the participants can't hear you very well. So if you can speak slightly loudly, Prabhuji, that would be great.
Oh, really? Maybe there's some settings issue on my. Yes. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Some issue with Zoom settings. I don't know why this auto setting goes to low settings on my computer. Okay, I would like to congratulate all of you once again. 18 settings, like I said, will complete the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, it has been recited orally for generations in India. It is published in hundreds of editions. It is translated into dozens of languages. It is performed on stage. It has been painted on canvas. It has been debated in courtrooms. It is employed in daily worship in India. It is actually venerated in India as an object of worship. And most importantly, the text has given meaning and direction to the lives of countless individuals, philosophers, scientists, social activists, people of various faith from every religious tradition have turned to Gita for inspiration, right? And the Bhagavad Gita, that's why it's rightly called a classic. It has universal philosophy. It is not just reserved for some people, it's universal. It is perennial. It is beyond space and time. Generally, it is known to people as one of the Hindu religious books, right? And we all may have heard some verses recited here and there, right? But many times it is observed that we do not have a complete understanding or a proper understanding, and we are unaware of the great value of this book. Especially in India, in the Indian cinema, in the Hindi cinema, they will show that if the matter reaches the court, then the lawyer will come and say, put your hand on Bhagavad Gita and say, whatever you are going to speak is going to be truth and not a lie. भगवत गीता पे हाथ रखकर कसम खाता हूं, जो भी कहूंगा सच कहूंगा, सच के सिवा कुछ नहीं कहूंगा. That's in Hindi, right? But the problem is, if they would have studied the Bhagavad Gita before, then they would not have to come to the court and say anything like this. The problem is they don't teach the Bhagavad Gita, but just by keeping the hand on Bhagavad Gita, what will happen, right? But Bhagavad Gita is to be studied to reform our character, right? So, Bhagavad Gita is the foundation of spirituality, right? And Bhagavad Gita is part of the Mahabharata, the bigger text, the entire text given by a great composition by Srila Vyasadeva, and of that there is one Yuddha Parva, one section, the battle of Kurukshetra, and before the battle began, it was this Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to Arjuna, right? And historically, the date for Bhagavad Gita is November 22nd, 3067 BC. That's the date. November 22nd, 3067 BC. So the Bhagavad Gita, like I said, it has 18 chapters and 700 verses. So there are 4 personalities talking in this composition. That's so Krishna, who is speaking the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, who is listening, and there are 2 more, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya are sitting in Hastinapur, and Sanjaya, who has got the divine vision, blessed with a divine vision, is seeing the live relay from the battle which is happening at Kurukshetra. So Hastinapur and Kurukshetra are close to like 3.5 hours apart, right, geographically. Dhritarashtra is the king and Sanjaya is his secretary. Sanjaya is blessed with divine vision and he's able to see what's happening at the Kurukshetra battlefield and is relaying it to the king, right? So 4 characters, you can say Krishna, Arjuna, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. So in the 18 chapters, 700 verses, there is only 1 verse which is spoken by Dhritarashtra. There are 41 verses which Sanjaya will speak. There are 84 verses which Arjuna speaks. And there are 574 verses which Krishna will recite. Right? And for our study here, we will, Bhagavad, like I said, Bhagavad Gita has been commented upon. Commentaries have been given by various personalities of various walks of life, right? But for our discussion here, we will restrict it to the commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the ISKCON movement. So his commentary he had named as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So when you get a Bhagavad Gita, right, like you must have seen Narendra Modi offering Bhagavad Gita to every dignitary who arrives in India. So the Bhagavad Gita that he gives is Bhagavad Gita as it is to everyone. So that's the Gita commentary by Srila Prabhupada, right? And we will refer to that in our discussions. Today also in India happens to be Vasanta Panchami, a very auspicious day in Vrindavan. Great festivals are celebrated from here till the holy day, right? The day when Holi is celebrated. Gaura Purnima day we call it. So Vasant Panchami is, and today also happens to be the appearance day of one more spiritual teacher, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who has written a very, very beautiful commentary which is called Sarartha Darshini Tika on the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada, whose commentary Bhagavad Gita as it is we will refer time and again, right, for our discussion, also has taken great inspiration from Vishwanath Thakur's commentary, Sarartha Darshini, right? And the Govinda Bhashya, right, of Govinda Bhashya. So, Srila Prabhupada, who has given this Bhagavad Gita as it is, I'll appreciate if you all can have a personal copy with yourself while we are discussing the 18 sittings that we will have, 18 times. We'll have these sessions and we complete the whole Bhagavad Gita. So if you have a copy for yourself, it will be very important. So when you take this Bhagavad Gita in the hand, the first question people ask is, right on the cover page, there is something astonishing. Because generally it is called Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada has written the name as Bhagavad Gita as it is. When Prabhupada was asked this question, why such difference? Why not just Bhagavad Gita the way it is supposed to be? Why have you put it as it is? Srila Prabhupada would say, oh, before I wrote the commentary, there were more than 600 commentaries available on this one book in the American Library of Congress, right? So many Bhagavad Gitas available in the market, right? And many times, Srila Prabhupada would say, the essence is lost. It is not as it is. Many want to give commentaries, but they add their own understanding there. They do not repeat it as it is, right? So this commentary, Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's the recent and the foremost. It's from the foremost scholar of Vaishnava tradition called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Right? I will speak about what is this Sampradaya as we move to 4th chapter. So Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, which is written by Srila Vyasadeva. It is from the section of verses from the Yuddha Parva, 18 chapters, 700 shlokas, and Krishna is apparently speaking this Bhagavad Gita to a despondent Arjuna on the battlefield. Right? So, as we go in sequence from one chapter to the next, right, it is very necessary to understand, right, that Gita is not to be read, it is to be studied. A novel is read, a magazine is read, physics textbook is not read, it is studied. That's how Gita that's the seriousness we should offer to Gita. Right? It is not to be read, it is to be studied. Right? The Gita is to be studied with great care, attention, and discipline. Right? And you'll find in the Bhagavad Gita, it is supposed to be spoken by Krishna, but Krishna will not speak a word in the Gita till chapter 2, text 11. Right? Now, sometimes people say, then why should we study the chapter 1? Is it required? No, it is. Even if Krishna has not spoken anything till 2nd chapter, the 1st chapter also is important. One time, Srila Prabhupada was asked by a reporter, Swamiji, which chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is most important? And Prabhupada said, all the chapters are important. You cannot, is there something happening here on the screen? Srila Prabhupada would say, you should not take a chapter aside and try to study. You will not be able to make out anything. Prabhupada would give the example, one time a farmer, he had a chicken. And the chicken would lay eggs from behind. And the farmer wanted these eggs. But after some time, the farmer realized the front portion, the mouth eats a lot, and that's an expense, right? But the eggs are very attractive. Yes, the eggs is what I want. And the farmer decided, let me cut off the front portion, and from the back portion, I'll continue getting the eggs. And the farmer actually tried it. He cut off the head and thought the chicken will continue laying eggs. Prabhupada would say, that's the wrong attempt with Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, what do people do? Out of context, they'll pick up one chapter from here, some verses from there, and they think they'll understand Bhagavad Gita. even if Krishna has not spoken till second chapter, we have to understand that the first chapter is also important. Shankaracharya, one great spiritual scholar in the Vedic tradition, he has taken out these 700 verses, given us it in the form of 18 chapters, and every chapter is important. Okay, so the first chapter is the starting point of in the form of an inquiry of a seeker. When a seeker takes to spiritual practice, spiritual awakening, right, one may get many questions, and the answers to these questions are contained in the entirety of the Gita. And in order to get these answers, it is necessary to know the questions. What were the questions that were asked by Arjuna that made Krishna speak the whole Bhagavad Gita? If Arjuna is a seeker, what doubts arose in his mind? What questions did he ask? Right? So, in order to get the answers, we have to understand the questions itself. Right? Attempting to get the answers without understanding the questions will be like attempting an examination without the question paper itself. So it is not only necessary to have the question paper, but it is also important to understand those questions. Right? So in the Bhagavad Gita, the words, the phrases, or it is called as shlokas, they have 3 layers of meaning. The first layer is called Shabdartha. It is called literal meaning. It is a simple literal translation of the words that make up the shloka, the Sanskrit couplet. Right? In the relevant context, whatever is simple literal translation of the words, that is called Shabda Artha, literal meaning. The second layer is called Bhavartha. The Bhavartha means the purport or explanation of the literal meaning of the shloka. Right? So what is Bhavartha? It is a deeper exposition of the ideas contained in the answers given by Krishna. So the first was Shabdartha, first layer. Second is Bhavartha. The third layer is called Guda Artha, or the hidden meaning. This is the deepest layer of the Gita, right? And this true meaning is hidden from the view. And this meaning can be unearthed by dedicated study under the guidance of a guru or teacher. Right? Guru guides the seeker along the path shown by Gita, right? And according to one's spiritual evolution, one's readiness, the readiness of the seeker, this Gudartha gets revealed. Right? So there are famous bhashyas or commentaries written on the Bhagavad Gita, and these commentaries can help us go through these layers, and go to the deeper meaning of it. Right? So when you see this Bhagavad Gita as it is, you will find the verse is only 2 lines. But the purports that Srila Prabhupada has given are sometimes 3 pages, 4 pages. And you may say, why so much written on 2 lines? Because we want to understand the Gura Artha, the deeper. We want to cross all the layers. That the deep meanings of the Gita are to be realized, not just understood. Right? By constant application of the knowledge that we receive through a disciplined process of study, contemplation, practice. Right? Traditionally, it is called Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Right? So there's a process to study the Gita. Right? So in the Bhagavad Gita as it is, you'll find it begins with a detailed introduction running into more than 30 plus pages. Right? This introduction prepares us. Generally, Bhagavad Gita is studied amongst the scholars who already have a certain foundation.
right? Spiritual foundation. Prabhupada achieves it by giving us a detailed introduction. And when we read the introduction and then begin studying Bhagavad Gita, then you will find, wow, so many things, fall in place afterwards. Otherwise, if we straight jump to Bhagavad Gita, the verses, many times we will not be able to understand things. Right? So Srila Prabhupada gives the entire parampara line in the introduction, the disciplic succession in which Prabhupada appears. So what is disciplic succession? Krishna giving to Arjuna, like that. So Guru giving to disciple. So that's a Guru giving to his disciple, the disciple giving to his disciple. That way the knowledge flows in a succession, right? So Bhagavad Gita as it is the most authentic version, and the something that is very close to us, something which will give us the understanding of Gita in complete. Right? So the first chapters is observing the armies. If you go to the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is called observing the armies. In Sanskrit, it is called Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Okay. So before entering into the Bhagavad Gita, right, the first chapter, you will find, like I said, there are 4 characters: Krishna, Arjuna, Dhritarashtra, and Sanjaya. We have to know who is who here. So let us take, I said Sanjaya is the secretary to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is the emperor sitting on the throne there at Hastinapur. And Arjuna, okay, who is Arjuna? There are 2 guys, two families here, Kauravas and Pandavas. So Dhritarashtra's line is Kauravas, and Dhritarashtra's brother is Pandu, who is not alive, who is dead, but his sons, 5 sons, Pandavas, are there. So Pandavas, being elder, were supposed to get the throne, was supposed to sit on the throne. But Dhritarashtra did not want it. He wanted his sons. And then begins a great, feud amongst the families, and it comes to the point of a battle. And that's why so a battlefield is arranged. Kauravas and Pandavas are the opposing parties. And Kauravas, their father Dhritarashtra, sitting in Hastinapur, wants to know, oh Sanjaya, what's going on in the battlefield? Please tell me. I do not know. I am unaware. And Sanjaya, who has got the divine vision, blessed by a divine vision, he is able to relay what's happening on the battlefield. So when Bhagavad Gita is there, which is given by Srila Vyasadeva, who wrote the entire Mahabharata and all the scriptures that are available as Sanatan Dharma, Vyasadeva, he has given us this Bhagavad Gita, right? And in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 characters. So wherever, whoever speaks, you'll find Dhritarashtra speaks 1 verse, and Vyasadeva has written, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dhritarashtra spoke thus. Wherever Sanjaya speaks, it is said, Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya spoke thus. Wherever Arjuna speaks, it is written, Arjuna Uvacha, right? Very clear. Their names are there and they spoke thus. Wherever Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Vyasadeva, you will find he does not write Krishna Uvacha. He does not do that. He says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Vyasadeva, who has compiled all the scriptures for us and especially has given this Bhagavad Gita, he clearly wants us to first understand Arjuna, Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra. I am giving their names. But Krishna, who apparently is seen as a charioteer, as a driver, he's driving the chariot of Arjuna, but we should not misunderstand him to be, oh, what a driver. No. Even if he's seen on the cover page like that, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He's Bhagavan. He's God. Many will say it is Bhagavad Gita. What does Bhagavad Gita mean? Gita means a song. Bhagavad Gita means the song sung by God. So this is the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Why any spiritual traditions in India, any spiritual organization connected with Sanatan Dharma, they will first keep Bhagavad Gita in front because it is spoken by Krishna, who is none other than Bhagavan. So Srila Prabhupada, in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita says, first of all, at least theoretically accept that Krishna is God and he is speaking. One will say, why should I accept? I don't understand Krishna like that. I have so many gods that I think of, as gods. I so many personalities. Okay, keep it aside. At least theoretically accept Krishna, the God, has spoken this Bhagavad Gita and give it that importance. Then this Bhagavad Gita study will have any meaning, Srila Prabhupada would say. As we go to the 11th chapter, we'll find Arjuna will ask Krishna, can you show me your Vishwarupa, your universal form? And all the devatas, including Brahma, Shiva, everyone will be seen within Krishna. Then Arjuna will ask, Krishna, is there any form which is more rarer than this? Then Krishna will show his four-handed Vishnu form. Right? Then Arjuna will once again ask, anything further deeper than this? And Krishna will show him his Shama Sundar feature. Right? And Arjuna, yes, this is so dear to me. This form of yours, Krishna. So understanding Krishna in a proper sense, right? Otherwise, I have heard people, sometimes, as representative of ISKCON, I need to go to some, panel discussions where people are going to speak on Bhagavad Gita. I am also supposed to be, speaking. I have heard people saying, oh, Krishna, he was some historical personality. Krishna, he was just a politician of the, of that era. Krishna, no, there is no Krishna, there is no Arjuna. Everything is just allegorical, right? Krishna is the intelligence. We are the soul, Arjuna, and the five senses are the five horses. See how they demean the whole study of Bhagavad Gita. Either they demean it or they give their own wrong meanings. One guy, when I heard him, I was like, so laughable. But this guy said, oh, Krishna is nothing but the dark unknown within us. I was like, what? Krishna is nothing but dark unknown within you, man, not me. Right? Just because Krishna is, bluish, black, dark color, Krishna is the dark unknown within us. And so many people say so many such things. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, what has Vyasdev said? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Lord of Shri said, Lakshmi Shri and Bhagavan. This is Vyasdev giving it. Why do you give your own meanings? We find Srila Prabhupada again and again in the introduction will say this. Don't misguide people. If you want to write something, give whatever title you want to the book and try selling it. Nobody will buy. But people want to write what they would like to say, and on the top will be Bhagavad Gita. To avoid this, Srila Prabhupada has intentionally written Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not the way I like it to be, as it is. That's the importance of this Bhagavad Gita. Right? So, in the first chapter, you'll find the first verse begins with Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Right? So, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya to narrate to him what were his children and those of Pandu assembled in the battlefield. What were they doing? Right? And this is the only shloka spoken by Dhritarashtra in the Gita, entire Gita. Rest of the Gita is Sanjaya's reportage of the questions asked by Arjuna and Sri Krishna's response to Arjuna's question. Right? And in the first chapter, there will be a very brief narrative of Duryodhana's actions in the initial few shlokas, right? So Dhritarashtra, who is not a participant in the battle of Kurukshetra, he is curious to know what is happening in the battlefield, right? This Dhritarashtra does, because of his attachment, right? Attachment to his children and his attachment to the emotion of hate, dvesha, for the children of Pandu, right? So this, love and hate, that battle that happens in our heart, right? As soon as I get attached to somebody I love, and then anybody else I hate, right? This battle that goes on is from where Bhagavad Gita begins. To come out of this duality, right, in our lives, Dhritarashtra is asking this question: what happened to my children and Pandu's children when they came together? What happened? So it is this attachment that is the root of all misery for the soul, right? So if we were to examine the situation of Dhritarashtra, what causes him grief is not the fact that there is a battle going on, but the fact that he's attached. On the one hand, he's attached to his children with positive emotion, and on the other hand, with a negative emotion, he hates Pandavas, right? And Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, Duryodhan, and Arjuna, each of these represent a person at different stages of spiritual evolution. Right? At the lowest level is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was born blind. Vyasdev granted divine vision to Sanjaya so that he could see the happenings in the Kurukshetra battlefield. Right? And okay, one question could be asked. One question could be asked is, if Vyasadev could give divine vision to Sanjaya, why did he not give it to Dhritarashtra, the blind guy? He is interested to know. He is eager to know. Why did he not offer? So, Dhritarashtra's blindness, we have to understand Dhritarashtra's blindness was not only a physical blindness, but blindness at a deeper spiritual level. The very name Dhritarashtra, right? What does it mean? One who is very firmly rooted in Rashtra, or the earth, or the position. Dhritarashtra is very, very attached, right? Our attachment causes us to become blind to realities. Our attachments blind us, and that was the deeper sense of blindness of Dhritarashtra, right? So Dhritarashtra was very deeply attached to worldly things, right? Because he will say, Mamaka Pandavash Chaiva Kim Akurvat Sanjaya, right? He's saying, what are my children and those of Pandu doing, right? So actually, as a paternal uncle, he was supposed to be also a father to Pandavas. Yet Dhritarashtra draws a distinction between his children and those of Pandu, right? He's the emperor. He's supposed to be equal to everyone. But this shows the depth of his attachment. He was seeped in the darkness of ignorance, an ignorance that robbed Dhritarashtra of discrimination between right and wrong. That discrimination, to distinguishing between right and wrong, to choose the right path, to understand that which is real and that which is not, right? This is to be had by a divine vision, right? And Bhagavad Gita will not just offer Dhritarashtra or Sanjaya or Arjuna that vision, it will offer us also that vision. We also are in the same boat, right? So Dhritarashtra, very, very deeply attached, right? Now the second character, Sanjaya, right? Sanjaya, by his dharmic conduct, right, he has evolved spiritually, right? and he was ready to receive the gift of divine vision, right? And Sanjaya and Vyasadeva chose him. Actually, Dhritarashtra denied, no, 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 I don't want to see that ghastly battlefield. Please give it to Sanjaya. So Sanjaya had this good fortune of not only hearing the words of wisdom of Sri Krishna uttered to Arjuna, but also witness the Vishwarupa of Sri Krishna. The third personality is Duryodhan. In a similar situation like Dhritarashtra, what does Duryodhan means? Right? Actually, Duryodhan means one who is difficult to be conquered. So, traditional wisdom says that we are filled with 6 kinds of impurities. Kama, that means desires. Krodha, that means anger. Lobha, which is avarice. Moha, which means delusion. Mada, which means pride. Matsarya, which means envy. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Mada, and Matsarya. Right? So at the root of these are desires and attachments. Right? It is these that are difficult for a human to overcome. Right? And Duryodhan tells Krishna, oh, I know what the path of dharma is. Right? But Duryodhan, at the beginning of the battle, he tells Krishna, I know what dharma is, but there is something that is preventing me from walking on it. Right? Like we all we all many times come across situations where we know what is right, but there is something within that prevents us to make that right choice, that moral choice. Right? Duryodhana, says this to Krishna at the beginning of the battlefield. I know what is right, but it's something within me that is preventing me from walking on that path. That is our ignorance. It is this ignorance, right, despite knowing what the right path is, which keeps us attached to our desires and worldly objects. So, Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, and Duryodhan we discussed. The fourth personality is Arjuna. Arjuna represents the other end of the mundane spectrum. People who realize that there is something missing, that there is a higher purpose to life, but they don't have all the answers. Right? Such people will understand, I need Guru, I need guidance, I need to surrender to a teacher, right, with humility. And this is what Arjuna will do with Krishna. Krishna, I am not able to understand. There is something missing here, right? Please guide me, right? And Krishna will become Guru for Arjuna. Krishna is Akhila Jagat Guru. But Dhritarashtra, Arjuna, Sanjaya, there are different stages of life, right, of spiritual evolution. Right? Dhritarashtra is an old man, past the prime of his life, but completely mired in ignorance. Arjuna in the prime of his life, but is beset by doubts and confusion. Sanjaya is a servant, right, or a secretary to Dhritarashtra, but is blessed with spiritual vision. Right? But despite these differences, Bhagavad Gita was given to all the three. Dhritarashtra also heard it, Sanjaya also heard it, and Arjuna also heard it. Arjuna heard it from the lips of Sri Krishna. Sanjaya witnessed it with his divine vision, and Dhritarashtra heard it as reported by Sanjaya. So, what is the lesson to be learned from here? The lesson to be learned is it does not matter at what stage of life one is at, where we are, whether we are at the mortal plane in terms of age or status in society. It does not matter where we are in terms of spiritual progression. The Bhagavad Gita is for everyone. Gita is as much for Dhritarashtra as it is for Sanjaya, right? Whether you are young, whether you're old, it does not matter. Whether you are a family man or whether you are a renunciate, Bhagavad Gita is for each one of us, right? So we may be at various stages of spiritual evolution. Some are, some are deluded and blind with deep attachments like Dhritarashtra. Some may be like Duryodhan with qualities that are difficult to overcome. Some may be like Arjuna, right? One realizes the futility of mundane living, full of doubts. One may be despondent. Yet others may be like Sanjaya, a bit ahead on the path with discrimination, right? So wherever one may be, Krishna's benevolent assurance is there in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Do not despair, right? By Krishna's grace and by the grace of the Acharyas who have given such beautiful commentaries, all the confusions that we may have will melt away. The dirt on the mirror of our mind will get wiped away. That is Bhagavad Gita. So, like I said, the first lesson now we can derive is that Prabhupada wants us to accept is that Prabhupada says, please accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at least theoretically. That's in the introduction you will find, right? So, why should we accept Krishna as Bhagavan? Because Vyasadeva has given it. We want to learn the Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the Bhagavad Gita only Krishna will say, Janma karma cha me divyam. In the 4th chapter, Krishna will say, my birth and activities are transcendental. And he will not just say it, he will also prove it. So very clearly we have to understand what is Krishna's position and everyone else's position. Krishna as God and everyone else, right, dependent on God, right? Now, like I said, on the spiritual path, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, Sanjaya, Arjuna, but we all hear from Krishna, right? So Krishna will declare that his birth and activities are transcendental. All saints declare him to be the supreme, right? And you'll find in the introduction, Srila Prabhupada will say, Bhagavad Gita is an open secret. What is an open secret means? It's right there in front of you, but you cannot make anything out of it. Why? Prabhupada says it requires a submissive approach, right? Like when I was put to school, my parents, admitted to me to a school, and I was like, I will wear any clothes that I want, and I will go. At any time, I will go to school. And I was told, no, you have to be submissive here. There's a particular dress that you have to wear now. The school will prepare a timetable, and accordingly you have to go. There has to be certain behavior there's a mood for learning. What was that? It is all part of submission. You cannot learn anything unless you are submissive, right? So Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says in the introduction, the secret is, the password is a submissive approach. If I approach Bhagavad Gita, I know it. What big deal? I have done a PhD in some in engineering. I am a doctor, or just keep it aside, right? Just keep it aside. Or somebody will say, I'm a Sanskrit scholar. Keep it aside. Why I'm saying it? See, just because I know English, it does not mean that I'll understand physics. Physics may be, given in English, but does not. It's a different cup of tea or cup of milk, right? Similarly, if I understand Sanskrit, does not mean that I'll understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So Bhagavad Gita requires a submissive approach. And you'll find in the Gita Mahatmya written by Shankaracharya, so the Mahabharata, Yuddha Parva, and from there 700 verses taken by Shankaracharya, and he has given this as, this is the Bhagavad Gita. He has written a Gita Mahatmya. glories of Bhagavad Gita, a book, right? And in that Gita Mahatmya, he says, what's the need of any other scriptures? Huh? Right? There is no ya swayam padmanabhasya mukhapadmat vinishritah. This Gita, all the scriptures are coming from God, but this one is personally spoken by God. Why do you need any other scripture now? Just understand this Bhagavad Gita and it is sufficient. Okay. I have just 8 minutes more with me, and we have taken only one lesson of Bhagavad Gita today, right? From the first chapter and practically from the introduction only. I will try my best to cover. I have a PPT that is ready with me. Shall I show this to all of you? Shall I display this for all of you? I think I can. Just give me a second. Okay. Can I share? Oh, yeah, I have the rights. Okay. Yeah, can you all see this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. I was referring to this verse just now. Shankaracharya, who has spoken Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Right, this is another verse actually. Okay. So Gita Mahatmya is given by Adi Shankaracharya, we call him, right? Okay. So let's go to the next verse. Why does it not move to the next verse? Okay. Okay, next slide. So overview of Bhagavad Gita as it is. There are 18 chapters. They are divided into 3 sections. Chapter number 1 to 6, chapter number 7 to 12, and 13 to 18. That's a collection of 6 chapters. Okay. So the first 6 chapters learn to work. 7 to 12, but work for whom? For Krishna. And is there something special about it? Yes. You have to, while living in this world, how do you work for Krishna is the entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay. First verse. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yujutsamah mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvat sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said this verse. So why is he asking this question? He's desirous. Right? My sons should become the king. Right? He's doubtful. Will they win? He's fearful. The Pandavas have Krishna on their side, but he is hopeful. Somehow or other it will happen. Right? Okay, let us go to lesson 2. What happens here is from chapter 1, text 1 to text 26, we'll find Sanjaya will relate what what Duryodhan is speaking on the battlefield. Duryodhan going to the grandfather, Duryodhan going to, which is Bhishma, Duryodhan going to Dronacharya and telling, oh, I have so many people on my side, so many warriors on my side, but God is not on his side. Krishna is on the side of Pandavas, right? So being on God's side is million times superior to one's own political diplomacy and material expertise. So, just a few months before the battle was to begin, Arjuna and Duryodhana were going all around India to, get kings on their side, right? Solicit help. And Duryodhana and Arjuna both reached Dwarka, which is Krishna's, city, and they went to meet Krishna to ask for help. So Duryodhana arrived first, and so Krishna was lying on the bed and resting, and Duryodhana went and sat close to Krishna's head. And then Arjuna arrived and he sat at Krishna's feet. And when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna first. And he said, Arjuna, what brings you here? Should you not be preparing? Should you not be preparing for the battle? So that's what I am here for. And before Arjuna could say anything, Duryodhan spoke out, wait, I am also here. I am also here. Oh, you both are supposed to fight the war in Kurukshetra. What are you doing here? Dwarka is not the place. But Duryodhan said, we both need help from you. Whose side will you take? And Krishna said, see, you both are my relatives. I will not fight in the battle. Okay, there are two options I give. Either me alone, who's not going to fight, not lift any weapons, or my entire army. You can choose from these two options. But Krishna said, Duryodhan, Arjuna is younger to you, and also I saw him first. Let us give him a chance. So Arjuna was given the chance. Okay, out of the two options, Krishna alone, without not going to lift any weapons, on the practically useless, if I can say like that, and Krishna with his entire army. What did Arjuna choose? I want God on my side. Krishna, I want you. And Krishna once again said, Arjuna, careful. Think over. What are you doing? I am not going to fight in the battle. I'll be useless there. Arjuna said, I want you, Krishna. And Duryodhan said, anyways, I knew these guys are fools. Pandavas, again, they have proved themselves to be foolish. Good. Krishna, I will take your army. Please order them to come with me. And Krishna said, Duryodhan, don't worry. You go ahead. My army will follow very soon. They'll reach the battlefield and they'll fight on your side. And Krishna and Arjuna were there in the room. And Krishna asked Arjuna, Arjuna, what have you done? Why did you choose me? So it was done a little poetically. And Krishna said, and we generally say it in Hindi. So Krishna said to Arjuna, हार तेरी निश्चित है, सदा रहेगा उदास, माखन तो वो ले गया, केवल छाछ बची तेरे पास. Arjuna, what have you done? You are surely going to lose the battle now. He has taken away, makhan is butter. He has taken away butter. Only, water is remaining for you. Chas, right? Majji in Tamil, right? Only chas bachi tere paas. And Arjuna, he answered, Krishna, मैं भी कुछ अर्ज करूं? Shall I also say something? And Arjuna said, जीत मेरी निश्चित है, दास ना होगा उदास, माखन लेके क्या करूं जब माखन चोर है मेरे पास. Why I don't need, but I have the butter thief Krishna. So this is the lesson. Being on God's side or God on your side is million times superior to one's own, to Duryodhana's political diplomacy and material expertise. Right? Okay. So text 2 to 11, Duryodhana's fear and diplomacy revealed. So Duryodhana approaches Dronacharya, seeing the army of Pandavas, and he says these verses, right? He points out the various fighters on the side of Pandavas, right? Then Duryodhana says how, actually when he's explaining, it shows his internal fear, especially seeing Krishna on their side, right? But he says, I have Dronacharya, I have Bhishma, I have so many warriors on my side, and all the warriors are introduced one by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So Bhishma is there, Karna is there, Dronacharya is there. Our strength is immeasurable, protected by Bhishma. Oh, Pandavas, only they just have Bhima on their side. That's all. He says, right? Text 12 to 19. There is next lesson for us. Where there is Krishna, there is always victory. Right? So, in text 12 and 13, you'll find Bhishma blows the conch shell, the shankha, to begin the battle. Right? Tate shveter hayer yukter mahati syandhyane stitau madhava pandavaschaiva divyau shankau pradadmatuhu. Text 14 says, Madhava, Krishna's name here is taken as Madhava, and Pandava, that is Arjuna, Divya Shankho, they blew their Divya Shankh, the transcendental conches. So, the conches which are blown, the conches that were blown by Pandava warriors, their names are given. Krishna blew Panchajanya, Arjuna, Devadatta, Yudhishthir, Ananta Vijaya, Bhima, Poundra. Nakul's conch was known as Sughosha, Sahadev's conch was known as Mani Pushpaka. Right? And then the text 19 says, the Kuru's heart, Duryodhan and his army, their hearts were shattered when they heard all this blowing of conches. Right? So, so many signs of victory are there. Especially you'll find, if you see the cover page once again of your Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna is there as charioteer, Arjuna is on the chariot, and there is a flag on the top of the chariot. On that flag, you will find Hanuman. Right? The presence of Hanuman is also a sign of victory for the Pandavas. Krishna is surely there, and Hanuman is also present. Lesson number 4 from the chapter number 1. Right? Why did the great hero and Krishna devotee Arjuna put his bow down, refusing to fight? This is the first chapter. Suddenly Arjuna will become despondent. He is prepared. He has Krishna on his side. Right? Duryodhana on the other side is fearful now. He is ready for the battle. And suddenly there is a twist in the story. The great hero, the great devotee Arjuna, he refuses to fight. I will not fight this battle. I see no reason. Right? I only see bad omens. I don't want to fight. Krishna. Right? Arjuna will request Krishna, please take my chariot between the two armies. I want to observe who all have assembled here. Arjuna sees all kinds of relatives, various relatives of his own, and that brings attachment in his heart. My friends, my relatives, right? And even when Krishna is standing, who is Achyuta, who never fails in affection for his devotees, right? Who did not hesitate to carry out the order of Arjuna. He was ready to become a charioteer, a driver, and whose supreme position is never challenged. Arjuna, even in presence of Krishna, becomes despondent, right? And he feels, I don't want to fight this battle, right? Now, Vishwanath Thakur, whose appearance day is today, which I mentioned at the beginning, in his Sararth Darshana Tika, he says, the entire battle was arranged for this. The entire Mahabharata is for this. That Krishna can do Dharma Sanstapana. He can speak Bhagavad Gita. He will bring Arjuna to such a situation that Arjuna will, as a seeker, will ask questions, and Krishna as God, who appears for the purpose of Dharma, to establish Dharma, will get to speak Bhagavad Gita. So Duryodhana is put into a situation where his attachment comes forth, and he comes to a point, I cannot fight this war. I want to go away, Krishna. Krishna will get a chance to speak Bhagavad Gita now. He's seeking an opportunity to render service to his devotees, right? So Krishna puts Arjuna into this illusion, this situation of bewilderment where he gets overwhelmed, right? And there are various reasons for Arjuna to not fight the war, right? So I will request you, please quickly go through there's a table here on the slide. See, the 4 reasons are in the first chapter, and the 5th reason is in the 2nd chapter. The 4 reasons are compassion for friends and relatives that Arjuna gives. I don't see any enjoyment, no enjoyment even if we are victorious. The 3rd, he fears sinful reactions, papa. I'm killing, papa will come. 4th, he says destruction of family traditions. And the 5th one will come in the next chapter. Total 5 reasons that Arjuna gives. The 5th one is indecision. I'm not able to decide. And Krishna will address and answer all of these doubts of Arjuna in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I've gone beyond time, 6 minutes beyond the time that was allotted to me. I will stop here, and next session will begin right from here and continue and complete the entire second chapter. I will not have to spend time on the initial part that I had to give today. What is Bhagavad Gita? What Bhagavad Gita are we referring? That took some little extra time. But next session, we will begin from here, Arjuna's doubts, and Krishna answering them, and we'll complete the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In case there are any questions, comments, clarifications you would like to seek, you could offer that now. We could take that now. So some of you are asking in the chat, can we have the slide deck? Can we have the PPTs? I'll surely share it with all of you, but at a right time. Right? Otherwise, if you start going through it, you may kind of get, there's lots there. It needs to be explained. Okay. Gaurav, I think there are no questions or comments. Then we could stop for today.
Prabhuji, Pranam, I have a question, please.
Where is it coming from? Can you spotlight?
Hello, Prabhuji. My name is Pranshu Dikshit.
Okay.
I based in Calgary. So I have a question, and it's always been in my mind. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you for giving us this lecture, Gita lecture. And we are privileged actually to attend and listen some pravachan from you. And I'm really privileged. So my question is, and this has been question in my mind for many years, but I did not get a right person to ask. So as you said that, what is this? As you said that the Krishna, Arjun went in between. Can I speak in Hindi?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm okay.
मैंने श्रीमद् भागवत गीता पढ़ी थी और उसके हिसाब से Arjun, he goes in between of the battlefield and wanted to see everybody. But my question is that why it's only Arjun he went? Why not Bhishma Pitama? Because he has his grandson who was there. Why he did not have that emotional attachment to go in between and see all the people? Why not Dronachari, who has the disciples both the sides? And why Yudhishthir, who has been like the eldest brother and very emotional to everyone? So why the only Arjun went in between to see everybody and put his emotions out? Okay. Is there any spiritual way in this? Okay.
So your question is, why did Arjuna not do that? See, it's Mahabharata is a history. It's like saying, why Gandhiji did not go there, but that's not the question that you can ask now. Gandhiji did what he did, and we learned something from it, like history, right? So Mahabharata is a history. Now Arjuna did this. Arjuna asked Krishna, Senayor ubayor madhye ratham sthapaya me achyuta, right? After the conch shells have been blown, the battle cry is already done, right? But everyone was waiting. What will Arjuna, the hero, will do? Because Arjuna has already fought with each of them and has defeated each of them before. Everyone was waiting. What will Krishna and Arjuna do? Their chariot, what will the first, salvo, as they call it, it has to come from there, right? They're waiting for it. Actually, what had happened before this Bhagavad Gita also was spoken was, when both the sides were arranged on the battlefield, you'll find Yudhishthir, he goes to Bhishma and bows down at his feet and says, please bless me that I can be victorious. And Bhishma says, I bless you. I was waiting. What will Yudhishthir do now? Because you did not give up on dharma and you followed the dharma and you came and offered obeisances, I bless you that you'll be victorious. Next, he goes to Dronacharya. You are my guru. Please bless me. And Dronacharya is so pleased with his disciple. Yudhishthir goes back. Second guy, Everyone is waiting. What will Arjuna do now? Arjuna, right, sitting on the chariot, he takes 2 arrows and hits them. One goes to Bhishma's feet and another one goes to Dronacharya's feet. And both are, wow, that's our his way of offering obeisances, namaskar, was in a Kshatriya style, right? So this happens first. And then Vishwanath Thakur is telling Arjuna is put into a situation by Krishna. It was all done by Krishna because he wanted Bhagavad Gita to be spoken, right? So that thousands of years later, Kanai Thakurdas will sit in Pune and you all sitting in Calgary and some other parts of the world will get to study Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna will ask questions, Krishna will answer, and all of us will continue discussing thousands and thousands and thousands of years later and, follow the path that Krishna wants us to, right? So Arjuna did it because Krishna inspired it from within his heart. Arjuna, go in front of the battle, go in front of all. Arjuna will develop compassion. Oh, I have to kill all of these people. Why to kill? Why this bloodshed? I better renounce. I just go away from here. And Krishna will tell, no, life is also a battle. All of us have our own battles. And Krishna gives us intelligence. Krishna gives us wisdom. How to live in this world, but not of this world, and how to get out of this world. Everything will be discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay?
Can I ask
So,
one question, Prabhuji?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
It would be
Yes,
very
please.
quick. First of all, thank you very much. And
Who's
I just
asking
want to
this question?
It's
Yes,
me,
thank you.
Dikti.
Yeah.
I have switched
Yes.
my video on.
Yeah.
As
Please continue.
the reasons, and in the slide it says 2.6. So 2 would be the chapter and 6 would be the verse,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
And
wherever we
how-
write 1.16, like that. So 16th is the verse and 1.
Okay, and 1.39 to 43 means first chapter verses 39 to 43. It's all
That
about the
section.
destruction of family traditions which were Arjuna's afraid
Yes,
of.
yes.
ये तो
yes,
समझ
yes.
आ गया कि लीला है, उस पे तो कोई क्वेश्चन हम रेज नहीं कर सकते because it's लीला, right? And that's how ये सारा
Okay.
रचा गया. But how was Krishna related to Pandavas and Kauravas?
Okay, how was Krishna related to So Krishna's so Pandava's mother is Kunti,
Mm-hmm.
and Kunti is the maternal aunt of Krishna.
Okay.
Bua
Pandava's mother is Kunti. Okay. And
Like that.
Kunti is
is the
Krishna.
maternal aunt.
Oh, okay. So, Mami?
So Kunti is related to Vasudev, and Vasudev is the father of Krishna.
Right.
Right? Like that.
Okay, got it. So Kunti is Krishna's maternal aunt as
Aunt,
well as Pandava's
yes.
mother.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gaurav, let us stop. It's quite late at your end.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your time and your association. It is always a blessing to have you have your association.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
So we'll begin from where we stopped. Arjuna's doubts, and we'll continue to next second chapter next time. Okay. Thank you.
Definitely, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Srila
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.